3 chaotic British rounds are behind us, so it's time to focus forward with a new and dominant name atop BSRTC. Andy McEwen is at the top of the series with names like Holman and Farrier just hanging on to contention. Can things mix up at Sonoma, or does Andy celebrate a week well done in wine country? Hi, and welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Sonoma Raceway. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with JP Costa alongside on the mic this afternoon. And JP, it's Sonoma Raceway once again. Tuesday was full of drama, nearly overspilling, if you catch my drift. It was chaotic.
It was absolutely chaotic, Andrew. And surprisingly, I expect more of the same. We know the nature of this track. We know how tight it is. We know that overtaking opportunities are quite limited. So we do expect a little bit of beating and banging amongst the drivers. And I think that, Andrew, that's what sometimes makes Sonoma fun, isn't it? You know, the challenge of overtaking, the difficulty of overtaking. And obviously, sometimes you just have to barge your way through, as we often see on NASCAR.
It takes using the car to pass. You can't just set up a pass and think you're going to get on by without any kind of issue. Drivers at Sonoma, they tend to make things a little more difficult on you than just that. Let's go ahead and go into the sim and check out our track map coming into today. This is how things look at the Sonoma Raceway. As you can see, 12 corners, but they don't all at all look like anything you might have seen on any of the racetrack before. Sonoma is definitely one of the more unique circuits in America. It's definitely one of the more, I think, classic circuits in America when you look at how it was built. And even when you add in the carousel, it's just a classic flowing American circuit. So much elevation change, so many great sweepers, natural feeling corners. It feels like you're on a country road.
Absolutely, and I love it. I'm pretty sure each and every single driver loves driving in country roads, and I'm pretty sure everybody loves driving around here. You know, Andrew, I love the first sector going up and down. I love the S's, and obviously the tricky braking zone to the hairpin always makes it fun. You know, just being on the edge of overshooting that corner and losing a lot of time, or just pretty much going under speed, and sometimes, you know, hitting those tire walls that you have on the inside is just a tricky, challenging, unforgiving, amazing circuit.
Sonoma Raceway, site of round number 4 today. Let's check out those point standings after 3 rounds of 10. This is how things look. Andy McEwen securely on top there by nearly 100 points over James Holman. That's not to say that Holman can't change that today. He's certainly within striking distance with 4 races on the docket as per usual. Neil Farrier dropping well down the order, 226 back of Andy now, and you see Nathan Davies, Michael Seal, and Joe Winter. They're all quite a ways back, but all close to each other. Carl Hardy checks in as your Pro-Am points leader, and Adam Fox leads an Am.
It's a really close battle. I guess 100 points, and for 95 points, I'd say that's a close battle, because that's what we have between McEwen and Holman, and that's approximately what we have between Hardy and Eve. So I expect those positions to maybe switch at the end of the day. Well, they're either going to switch or they're going to create a bigger gap. I mean, that's the only 2 ways this can go. Obviously, Adam Fox in 13th place, that's an excellent result for him. And he's, what, 30 points ahead of Fiona Siddons? So that could also change. That's really going to take, you know, some work to be undone. And obviously, look at that battle, Andrew, between 14th and 20th for the Pro-Am. That's amazing to watch.
And those drivers are only 66 points apart from Sutherland back to Malcolm. So you have Rob Sutherland and Scott Smith only 4 points apart. Then it's only 1 more point back to Martin Johnson. You see Craig Schill is very close in there. Craig Schill, I think, has found his place in Pro-Am. He is very much securely within this battle and going to make things interesting. And even Robin Walters and Scott Malcolm aren't too far back. I think they have some work to do today at Sonoma, but they're not out of that Pro-Am contention at all. And they can certainly start to put a season together, turn their season around really here at Sonoma. And I think that's what a lot of drivers are looking to do. This is a break in the schedule almost. It feels like you had your 3 British rounds to start the season. It doesn't even feel like it. We did. We had those 3 British rounds to start the season. Now it's 7 North American rounds with 1 trip up to Canada, 6 in the United States. Definitely a different kind of racetrack. Still flowing, still built to the land, but in a different way. You get a lot of airfields out in Britain. You still have a few. I mean, even Sebring on this American slate is, well, an airfield, but a lot of these tracks are built really to follow the land. I think Sonoma, Elkhart Lakes, Road America, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, all built to follow the land and have some natural curvature. It's Daytona and Sebring where things change.
Yeah, absolutely. Those 2 are going to be different, and I'm pretty sure, Andrew, I'm pretty sure you're going to share my words, but I absolutely love this schedule. I love the American side of it. It's just so challenging. Sonoma, obviously, is the first racing course that we have on this season at least, that is American, and obviously we're just gonna stick on it. And I'm pretty sure I mean, this has to be the circuit I'm most looking forward to. I think, you know, the challenge between these, we saw how tricky they can be on the Miatas. I feel like on the TCs they're going to be a lot of fun as well, especially the S's. Those are going to be unforgiving. You can lose a lot of time. This section right here where we are watching, I'm excited for this, Andrew. I don't know about you, but I'm very, very excited.
Flipping through the field, getting a look at some of these cars. There's Sam Smith in car 527. Mick Anderson is here in the 66. There is Robin Walters in car 563 for Distinction Motorsport. Scott Smith is out there. Alistair Hatcher's in the pit lane. Here's a look at Scott Malcolm, a new paint scheme there, I think, for Ignia Motorsport. And we've even got Fiona Siddons on track. Glenn Humberstone is out there. Martin Johnson is around, but a few drivers are serving quali bans. I say a few. We're looking at 8 drivers in the pit lane right now serving a qualification ban. Let's bring up your ticker as we get, well, further into qualifying here. Only 2.5 minutes to go, and Lee Holmes is the fastest of the bunch. He is, oh, that needs to be changed, actually, for the rest of the day. He is a pro driver, it looks like. He is in that number 35, so, yeah, that does need to be adjusted. So he is officially on pole as a pro driver.
Yeah, he's doing really well, just over half a tenth of a second ahead of Michael Seal in second, so those two are really going to go at it on this final part of qualifying, trying to edge one another for a provisional pole, at least for the time being. And obviously, Andrew, James Neve, he's still in the Pro-Am class, if I'm not mistaken, so he's doing really well in 3rd place. And obviously, Alistair Hatcher as well. 10th place for an amateur driver, doing absolutely a fantastic job.
And Alistair is one of only 4 amateur drivers that I see in the field. There's a look at James Neve on the racetrack. McEwen just went a bit faster, up to 4th. Andy's struggling a little bit at Sonoma. I would have thought that he would have been a lot better here. I honestly would have pegged him as one of the best drivers in the field this week between the Miatas and the touring cars. This is a place that he knows pretty well. I know he's British like the rest of these guys, but he's a big NASCAR fan. I would have thought that he would be a whole lot better here. Would have had more laps, potentially, been more familiar with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of weird. Obviously, that transition between, oh, that was close, between the Miatas and the TCs could catch some drivers out. Obviously, you know, cars drive very, very differently. But yeah, it's kind of weird seeing him out there. Hopefully, his race pace is going to be a bit better. Currently, a quarter of a second behind pole, so he still needs to find some time. And with 1 minute to go, he can still, you know, finish this lap and open another one to try again. But currently, at this pace is, I think you mentioned, you know, is not what we expected from him.
We'll see if that time picks up throughout the course of the day. Definitely would expect car 18 to still win a couple of races, or at least win a race today. That's kind of the expectation at this point. He's got so many wins in this season so far, and leading the points, we expect McEwen to be pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see him finishing this lap. That's not going to be an improvement, actually. He went nearly a second slower. So he has this one final shot of trying to get that pole, currently 2.5 tenths of a second behind it. So he needs really Andrew to kind of pick up the pace a little bit and get himself into pole position. If not, he's going to start in the second row. Obviously, that's not going to be the end of the world. We saw that overtakes are very, very possible. And now we're taking a good look on board the car. We just took, actually, a good look on board the car to see how undulating, I guess you can say, how up and down the first sector is.
He won 1 round at Knock Hill last week, got a win at Donington Park as well. So he's only actually got a couple of wins in the season, but has just been really, really good, really consistent in between. There's look at Michael Seal. Seal might have a chance here to knock Lee Holmes off the pole.
Yeah, he might just have one. Obviously, less than a tenth of a second, and he doesn't need to improve quite a lot. But obviously, when you're in second place, you're pretty much extracting everything you can from the car and the track. So finding that half a tenth of a second, it's really difficult. Shane Piggott currently in 5th place.
Looking good today.
What? Excuse me?
Looking good today.
Yeah, on qualifying, looking very strong. If he can improve just over a tenth of a second, he can back himself on pole. And obviously, if he improves even more, he's gonna have even a better chance. So, trying to get that Hyundai to work. I'm pretty sure he's the fastest velocity we have so far. But yeah, just coming up to the final corner of the racetrack, the second to last, he goes a little bit wide, and that could cost him.
Gets a good launch there out of turn 11, though, and these touring cars might take a bit of an offline to get power down. See what it does across the line. Shane Piggott, no faster, and Michael Seal does go faster. Does he have enough? I think he's got enough. Yes, Michael Seal up to pole as time expires. Good lap there from car 57, just enough there to get ahead of Lee Holmes, and he is the final car running. That is it. That is qualifying. That is your order for starters today. Michael Seal on pole.
Very good. He improved by nearly a full tenth of a second, so really good job for him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy about it. Sitting obviously on the best seat on the house, but Andrew, we know that on TCRs, sitting on pole doesn't mean everything. You really need to get that launch correctly if you want to hold that off.
No, and of course the inverts are going to change things up a ton today, as per usual. And you know what? We can even bring this up, actually. The spinny wheel has those same changes that we saw on Tuesday with some of the values changing. So here you go. You have two fulls on there as per usual. You have an 11, or actually two 11s, a 12, a 14, a 15, a 17, a 19, a 22, and a 25. I think that was all in numerical order. It may not have been, but you can see where they kind of mix around. We only have 21 cars today, though, so essentially you've got 4 fulls on there.
Yeah, absolutely. That really could change things up, and you know how much I love the fulls. You know how much I love a bit of that unknown. So it's definitely on the cars, so we can see plenty. I mean, we saw last week, I think it was, right? 3 fulls?
2 or 3, yeah. We had quite a few last week. Certainly between the couple of races, we had plenty of full inverts. Let's go ahead and come back into the sim and take a look at our starting grid, though, at least as it is for race number 1. On pole, it's Michael Seal. Starting second, it's Lee Holmes. Andy McEwen will roll off from the 4th spot, but that's just behind your Pro-Am pole sitter, James Neve in car 507. Starting 5th, it's Shane Piggott. An odd but good qualifying effort there for car 27. Robin Walters rolls off from the 6th spot. It's Scott Smith starting to the outside of Sam Smith. So Sam Smith, Scott Smith, the Smiths there on row number 4. And to complete the top 10, it's Mick Anderson and Alistair Hatcher, your amateur pole sitter. How about that?
Yeah, very good to see all the poles positions on each class on the top 10. Scott Malcolm's going to start in 11th place. Alongside him, Fiona Siddons, 2nd place in the Pro-Am class, in the amateur class, qualifying 2nd place in the championship. Glenn Humberstone is going to start in 13th place. Alongside him, the number 4 of James Homan in 14th place. 15th place, starting row number 8, we're going to have Chris Knox on the inside and Stephen Daly on his outside in 16th place. 17th place, we're going to have Ian Manners in the inside. On the outside in 18th place, Craig Schill, and that's all we're going to have time for, Andrew.
So as we get ready for race number 1 today from Sonoma, you can see the red lights on, waiting on the green lights now for race 1. And green flag will fly on the first one of the day. A couple of slow starts for some drivers. Already 3-4 wide across the line. Already a crash, my goodness. I think that's Scott Smith and one other. Yeah, Scott Smith and Robin Walters. And there we go, another crash. Fiona Siddons goes for a slide. She gets the car back going. Everybody else continues.
Oh, even more.
Another car, and that is Fiona Siddons again in the wall. One car out wide. They're out of 3A. Headed out of turn 4. A couple of side-by-sides, but I think we're starting to get into a groove.
Yeah, people are going to be going a little bit more cautious right now. You can see everybody in single file, Andrew. Really good to see. You can see a few drivers going for late lunges, but looks like they give up on the last minute. But yeah, that was kind of a more hectic start than what we had on Tuesdays on the MX-5. But looks like, well, things are very, very much calming down.
Good look here through the S's. Now, Robin Walters and Scott Smith, they're still on the racetrack as James Holman gets passed over Alistair Hatcher. Here's a look at Robin Walters. Fiona Siddons out there is barely continuing on. Scott Smith is actually the car that is towed. Fiona continues on, and that car is just about destroyed, unfortunately, for Fiona.
Yeah, I think there's not going to be any way to avoid the pit lane. You can see how much damage, you can see how far back she is, so really difficult. You can see further ahead, we have a few drivers making moves, looks like, but Michael Seal is the driver that led the first lap, Andrew. James Neve in 2nd place. Lee Holmes unfortunately drops to 3rd.
See some action there through turn 2 once again. Here's turn 3 again. And oh, look at this gaggle of cars. They head over the hill down to turn 3. Oh, that was Glenn Humberstone on the inside of the 88 Tech Art. Oh, no, Alistair Hatcher hard on the wall.
Oh, hard on the wall. That's going to be a lot of damage, if not a suspension broken down. And I think that's going to be it for race number 1 for the 964. After starting on pole, Andrew, things really took a turn for the worst.
First started pole only in class. Good distinction to make there. Let's see. Actually, back this up once more. Let's see if we can get an idea of what happened here at the start. With Scott Smith and some others. So, big calamity, and we'll see these guys roll off of the grid. This is high above the grid. Scott Smith, center of your screen. He gets involved with a white Robin Walters just ahead. So he's one of these cars that gets a great start, goes 3 wide. Here comes 4 wide. Maybe as they head to the corner, just contact there. I think Scott might have turned in on Robin there.
Yeah, maybe, but that's just so unfortunate to see it happening early on, and we're gonna have more collisions.
Stephen Daly.
Fiona Stins, yeah, just get tagged, comes back on the race. You can see just comes back to racing speed, and I wonder, yeah, she just got tagged again.
Yeah, Adam Fox just forced the issue there. It's unfortunate when a driver, I mean, you see what's going on in front of you. There's chaotic, just whatever is happening. It's a really good opportunity to lay back and take a corner or two slowly, but yeah, I think hindsight there is one thing. I don't know. Hopefully these guys learn a little patience for race 2. You don't want to see that kind of action in the second go around. Once you learn what not to do, that's kind of your sign there.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, heartbreaking for people like Fiona Siddons, who absolutely had nothing in control. Now we're going to take a look to see exactly what happened to Alistair Hatcher. And the mistake happened, or the contact happened, on the exit of 3. So going uphill.
Oh, just too wide.
By himself. Oh, that's terrible. That hurts even more, Andrew.
Just ran out wide. Gets the dirt there and goes for a bit of a spin into the wall. That said, we're on to lap number 3 now. Lap number 4 as Michael Seal leads us across the line and goes purple even, a 1:17.543. So car 57 is dialed in. A look at Sam Smith.
Yeah, Sam Smith doing really well. Unfortunately, he's kind of stuck on this train, so he really needs to get things going. But yeah, those two looks like they're on a pace of their own, on a league of their own pace. Really good to see them. Now it's going to be interesting to see, Andrew, if Sam Smith can really make up some moves. He has Andrew McEwen, the championship leader, in front of him. So quite a big name to try and overtake, especially on a track like this.
So on board with Sam Smith. Now, Lee Holmes is not a Pro-Am name. We've established that. We'll have to change that for race 2. But James Neve is a Pro-Am. But really, the battle for first and second in this class is Neve and Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 2 cars separating them. It's pretty much a Pro-Am sandwich. It's 2 Pro-Ams and, 2 Pro in the middle. So Lee Holmes and McEwen, they're going to try to sort things out. It looks like we're going to have a car really on the inside lane. I'm not quite sure that was. Yeah, that was Lee Holmes. He was trying to make a move on Neve right there. Couldn't really get to him, but you can see how close those 2 are up ahead as we cut a bit further behind. We have 3 RD Sim Sport cars right here entering formation. Kind of reminds me of the 5-star motorsport that we're used to seeing in the MX-5, but this time on the TCRs.
And this time a little further back, so they're a little behind on the game right now. James Holman in 7th, Mick Anderson in 6th, and Chris Knox in the 8th spot. Or sorry, 7th, 8th, and 9th, rather. Holman in 7th, Anderson in 8th, and Knox in 9th. Just ahead of Stephen Daly, who completes that top 10. And there is not a single pro driver outside the top 10. There aren't a ton here today, but there isn't a single one behind 10th spot, as Glenn Humberstone's got an issue.
Oh, it looks like just on the exit of 2.
See his damaged car there, already towed back to the pit lane. Let's go back and get a replay here for car 921. We'll go a little ways back, and I mean, he's on his own, but imagine this is unfortunately a pretty cut and dry incident. Likely goes a little bit wide or maybe a little bit shallow into a corner and just makes a mistake.
Yeah, very likely. We're seeing him approaching the final hairpin of the racetrack. Braking by himself, you can see how the car kind of gets unsettled on the braking. Gets on the power. You can see it turns 12, the final corner of the race. It's going to be pretty simple. And obviously the mistake is going to happen after the start-finish line as he goes uphill towards turns 1 and 2. This is going to be turn number 1. Going up turn number 2, Andrew, does the car get unsettled? You see already wiggling a little bit. No, just carries too much speed.
Just ran too deep into turn 2, gets the wall, and that's going to be his race done. You saw Shane Piggott go purple, though. That's good to see for Shane. It's really good to see for Shane. He's had a really rough go of things. Maybe the field lightening a little bit this week, and an opportunity for him to get some points back. And running in the 6th spot as well, just behind Sam Smith and that gaggle of cars ahead. So just a really, really good day here for Shane. Exactly what he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what he needs, and he's closing up, Andrew. He definitely wants those 2 ahead to really start battling so he can maybe catch up to them and try to overtake them again. You can see he's currently, around a second behind him, 1.2 behind those 2 ahead. So really closing up. Yeah, you can see there on your screen 1.1 behind Smith, and you can see how close Smith is to McEwen, and I expect to see a move, Andrew, just right here. You can see Lee Holmes as well challenging James Neve up ahead. Those two are going to remain unchanged. You can see the number 18 of McEwen is still under a lot of pressure, Andrew, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Neve and McEwen, really not feeling the pressure, really not making any mistakes.
McEwen almost did there, almost left the door open to Sam Smith, and I think Sam Smith might actually have something here for the pro driver of Andy McEwen in a moment. McEwen deep into 2, runs right to the apex, got that car woed down just enough, though. That was a good corner there from Andy, but could have gone awry. I think he's going to back himself up a little bit, back these corners up a little bit, pace himself. He's getting aggressive.
He's getting aggressive. I dare say he's getting a little bit impatient as well, Andrew. He wants to get past. He knows he has the pay.
Andy needs to back himself
Andy.
up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I completely misread that, misunderstood. But you can see here, Smith as well. He's really trying to go for it. We saw what happened, Andrew, when you get too close to the wall on turn 5. Remember on the MX-5?
Yeah, we'll let that one marinate.
We're just gonna let drivers need to be careful on that wall. It's kind of tricky. We don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, they need to be careful. But you can see around here the number 18 still kind of pulling away a little bit as we cut a bit further back. Is this Glenn Humbert? No, this is Craig Schill just chasing Scott Malcolm just ahead, and well, he's coming up to the hairpin as well. So I wonder if Schill will try to make a move. He carried a little bit more speed on the final part of the S's, but he's not close enough.
This is the battle for 3rd in Pro-Am. They're in 11th and 12th on the racetrack ahead of Ian Manners and Martin Johnson. Robin Walters is some ways behind. And now, your amateur battle is 4 or 5 cars in a row. And it begins with this guy, Adam Fox in position 16. Sir Alan Toon is 2nd in amateur right now.
Yeah, that's something nice to see. Just 2 seconds behind Adam Fox as well, Andrew. 2.5 seconds, so it's...
You can see him.
Yeah, he can see it. Things can still happen. Obviously, a mistake. Sir Alan Toon could make a mistake, but obviously Fox as well could make one. So, you know, it's still up for grabs. I say this win is still up for grabs. You can see caught up nearly 0.2 of a second on the entry, but unfortunately lost it on the exit. So it's kind of a balancing game between Alan Toon and Adam Fox, Andrew. It's just one gaining on one part of the circuit and the other gain on the other part of the circuit.
Could Alan get a win here? I mean... It's
definitely
close.
Out of the cards.
4.5 minutes to go, thereabouts. He's only a couple of seconds off of Adam Fox. This is close. He's going to need to make up some time, loses some time there through turn 5, actually. But, I mean, these two are also technically teammates. That's the other thing to keep in mind about it, is Adam Fox now under that Result clothing brand with Work Guard on the side of his number 9 and 10. So, technically, in that same grouping, just a little bit different colors. Basically a teammate. Now, there has been a position change. At least there was a position change up ahead with these two, as it's a side-by-side battle between Craig Schill and Scott Malcolm. Malcolm gives that spot up over turn 1 and into turn number 2. Craig Schill up to 11th.
Yeah, and this is 3rd place in the Pro-Am class as well, so a really good position for Craig Schill to get just outside of the top 10. Unfortunately, with 5 minutes to go, I don't think he can catch Daly ahead. 5 seconds and 3.5 minutes. Kind of difficult, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what the pace of Schill looks like. But yeah, look at this line of Honda Civics, Andrew. Kind of a dominating car, I'd say. Oh, as you can see there might be a slowdown just behind as we cut back to Lee Holmes, still chasing Neve, and they're not yielding, and I think they're catching Michael Seal in this last part of the race.
You say Honda Civics. There's a Honda Civic in 3rd, and we don't usually see this set of Hondas in this series. So maybe found a track finally that the Honda likes. I'm kind of surprised, actually. The Honda's doing really, really well today. Seems like it might even be one of the better cars. And usually, at least what we knew from the winter season of covering these guys was that the Honda didn't like curbs. Well, now it seems like the Honda does like these curbs today, likes the flowing nature of this course, and is doing really, really well here for Lee Holmes. Might also have a really good setup in that car, but something is working for car 35, and clearly other Hondas here as well. I think there's a Honda back here, maybe Mick Anderson. Yep, Mick Anderson in a Honda. He's in the 8th spot.
Yeah, so these guys are definitely making the Honda works, especially Lee Holmes. He's doing a fantastic job, but Anderson as well doing fantastic, just chasing his teammate James Holman ahead. And well, they're in the top 10. They're in a solid position, Andrew. So really good to see them. Obviously, we need to cut back to the battle up ahead. Lee still chasing James Neve ahead. He's closer, Andrew, but is he close enough to try to go for a move? You can see different lines being taken on the approach to the final section of the S's. This is turn 10, if I'm not mistaken, and look at the run that Lee got. This might be his opportunity. He's going to look to the outside of the 507. He's going to try to go the long way around the outside. On front-wheel drive cars, that is very difficult, and James Neve once again holds that position, Andrew. This is a fantastic battle we're watching.
On board on the nose of Holmes' machine. That is 2 laps to go across the line that time, just inside of 2 minutes to go. He's only got 2 more opportunities at each of these corners to make something happen for the second place. Now, Neve has likely got the win in Pro-Am regardless. Remember, Holmes has scored his car 35. He is now a pro in this series. That change not yet reflected on our ticker. That'll be reflected for race number 2. But, yeah, the win is pretty well cut and dry. Neves, as long as he doesn't get passed up by McEwen here, that would be the only thing that would open things up to Sam Smith. Really, Lee Holmes can battle with him at this point and not really be concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, this is not going to change, but I'm pretty sure, Andrew, they just want to finish in the best position possible. They're not willing to give up positions, especially this close to the end. And you can see just on the entry of the SS, you can see how much Neve essentially pulls away from Holmes, but you can see just the Honda closing and closing and closing on this last section on turn number 10. You can see the Honda, once again, Andrew, gets a good enough line, but Neve smartly just blocks the inside line, is forcing the Honda Civic to go the long way around. Looks like Lee Holmes is trying to get a cutback line. I don't think he was able to do it, but looks like his exit might just be good enough. No, I don't think so. So once again, he has to try again as we enter the final lap of the race.
White flag is out, presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. Up to turns 2 and 3 we go. Turn 2 here. And Lee has actually fallen back a little bit, and suddenly Andy McEwen is in a position to maybe challenge for that 3rd spot. Now turn 3 and 3A up over the hill. Michael Steele gets around the corner, popping those curbs. I love that these drivers are embracing the curbs today. It seemed like on Tuesday, a lot of them stayed off of the curbing, especially through 3A. In these touring cars, they're using them.
Yeah, they're going for it. Maybe they saw a little bit of the onboards of the pro drivers that were winning the race. I remember them tackling quite a bit, seeing pretty much flying, Andrew. But they're going for it. They're not afraid to risk it at all, especially on this final lap. So now, Andrew, do you think Lee Holmes is going to try everything, or do you think he's going to be a little bit more cautious?
He's got to be a lot closer. He's not at all close enough right now to try and move into 11. This is through 9 to turn number 10. He's just not at all close enough. This is all James Neve's spot at this point. So Michael Seal up ahead is going to be able to walk through turn number 11 rather calmly and at a brisk pace is going to be able to claim a first win on the day. I believe that's his first one of the season as well. No, his second win of the season. So Michael Seal back into victory lane, this time at Sonoma.
Pretty good for him for the number 57. Quite a dominant victory. Neve is going to win in the Pro-Am class. And Andrew, that was a fantastic battle we just had. Not an overtake for the top 4, but still, the tension really kept me on my seat. You can see the rest of the field coming on by. It looks like Adam Fox is going to be winning the amateur class in 16th place. And overall, a really good race from all classes.
Coming to the checkers here, Adam Fox out of the final corner. Well, out of turn number 11 anyway. He's down to the final corner of turn 12. And he will claim this win. Sir Alan Toon will go second in class. Fiona Siddons, the only other amateur car left running. Humberstone and Alistair Hatcher of early exits. And there is Fiona Siddons. Hey, she kept out there with all that damage. Props to her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm impressed. I thought she was going to come back to the pit lane and get that fixed, but no, persevered through the race. 15 minutes essentially running on her own, Andrew, but, well, it's going to finish on the lead lap, so you know what happens if we get a fault?
She goes to pole.
Absolutely. That will be the dream scenario for Fiona Sinners right now as she crosses the line. And, well, now the question to be answered, how many cars are going to be inverted?
Go ahead and find out here. That does conclude race number 1, which gives us an opportunity to bring up ye old spinny wheel and give it a spin and find our first invert of the day. 21 cars entered race number 1. That means, well, 22 and 25 serve as 2 extra full spaces, but I don't think we're going to use them. It looks like it's going to be 11, so a rather small invert, just about half of the field. You know who that puts on pole, JP?
It's going to be Craig Schill, isn't it?
It is. Craig Schill, in that very close battle with Scott Malcolm and Ian Manners, will be inverted up to the front now. And he's only got to contend. He went third in class in that race behind James Neave and Sam Smith. So that's big, actually, for Craig Schill.
Yeah, absolutely. And wasn't he on Tuesday the driver that was inverted on the first race as well?
I think so.
I think he was. So, yeah, he has a good string of inverts on Sonoma. Michael Su's going to win the race. He's going to start in 11th on race number 2. James Neave finishes in 2nd place overall, but wins the Pro-Am class. Lee Holmes finishes in 3rd ahead of Andrew McEwen. Sam Smith finishes in 5th place, 2nd place in the Pro-Am class. Shane Piggott in 6th place overall. James Holmes is going to finish in 7th ahead of his teammate Mick Anderson. Stephen Daly is going to finish in 9th place ahead of the number 88 of Chris Knox.
Finishing 11th, you will find car, well, 582 that we just talked about, Craig Schill in that 11th spot. There we go. Pulls up for us, so he will be inverted up to the first position for the start of race 2. Scott Malcolm goes 12th. That it's Ian Manners, Martin Johnson, Robin Walters. They are all just shy of that invert. But those Pro-Am drivers all finish in a row. 5 Pro-Ams and 5 AMs, beginning with Adam Fox, followed up by Alan Toon, Fiona Siddons, Glenn Humberstone, and Alistair Hatcher. Ends up 10 laps down. Humberstone goes 8 laps down there at the end. And the final car on your on your results, unofficial race results from race number 1, that is Scott Smith in car 502, 11 laps down. So the first 12 laps of the day, those are in the books, which means we can go ahead, JP, and focus on race number 2. What are your predictions? Call it now.
Oh, boy. I think the number 4 of James Holmes is going to win. Calling it right now.
Really?
I think so. Kept it a clean race. The Audi has a good start. Might be the recipe for success.
All right. Fair enough. I like it. I like the pick there. So JP calling out car number 4, James Holman. I don't have one. See, I get to put you on the spot, but I don't have to put myself on the spot. That's how this kind of thing works, or something like that anyways. Anyway, we have race number 2 coming up here in just a few short moments. Go ahead and stick with us here at Pit Stop TV. We would certainly appreciate it, as we've got more racing action from the Sonoma Raceway coming up right after this. Race 1 out of the way, race 2 on the way. 15 more minutes, about 12 laps of racing coming up in just a few short moments. Michael Seal wins race number 1 in dominating fashion. Took off from the start of the race, never looked back, and I think he just might do the same thing here in race number 2, JP. I don't see a reason why Michael Seal isn't the favorite than the rest of the day when he was able to command that race. No, he didn't pull away by, 10 seconds like Jason Cooper, but he just looked good.
Yeah, he just looked really, really good. Now he's going to have, obviously, the new challenge with the invert. We're going to have to see how good he's looking on race number 2, Andrew. And I'm excited with 2 seconds left on practice, on warm-up. Now we're going to go to the race. I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to win?
That was my pick, Michael Seal.
Okay, there you go. So that was easy. It was easier than me. That's not fun.
We got a grid ready to go for these guys. Craig Schill will start off from pole after the invert. Chris Knox will roll off from the 2nd position. 3rd will be Stephen Daly. 4th, Mick Anderson. 5th will be James Holman in the line. Then you got Shane Piggott. Sam Smith will roll off from the 7th position. Andy McEwen, well, either one, will round out your top 8. And then your back 3 of the invert, Lee Holmes, James Neve, and Michael Seal will start through the 11th position. Scott Malcolm, they're the first driver not to get the invert. So 11 cars inverted here for race number 2 and ready to go racing once more. Just waiting on a few of them to grid up. You can see a few missing positions. Chris Knox, though, going to start from that 2nd spot. I like what he's been doing this season. He has looked really, really good in that RD Sim Sport number 88, especially since joining those guys. And a chance here to start from the 2nd spot. A really good chance, honestly. He could be a really good pick for this win.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looking very strong. Obviously, starting in 2nd place. He's going to be a great shot. Let's see how he does.
A few cars starting from the pits, those including, it looks like, our pole sitter Craig Schill and maybe even a few others. Chris Knox, a very clean start. We're off and away, race 2. A land rush up to the 2nd corner. Chris Knox is already in 2nd to his teammate Mick Anderson. Over the hill and through the sandy grass we go.
Going up the hill, you can see those 2 cars going up, a Honda Civic and a Hyundai Elan truck going down the hill now into turn number 4. We can see already a few drivers trying to make moves. Oh, that's James Holman just rejoining the racetrack. So, well, Andrew, the commentator's course looks like it's absolutely on point. James Holman might absolutely hate me right now, as we can see a few extra drivers going side by side as we head into turn 5, and these drivers are already on the S's.
Only 19 cars making it here for race 2, and Glenn Humberstone has already spun around. Oh my goodness, a really messy start for a couple of drivers, but a couple of drivers for RD Simsport get out well ahead of this field, and they're off to a fantastic little run. Mick Anderson leads over Chris Knox, Shane Piggott in 3rd, it's 4th for James Neve, 5th for Andy McEwen, Michael Seal, that's my pick, he's 7th.
Yeah, he's doing really well. We're going to have to see how he, does on the following few laps. He still has a lot of cars to pass. You can see this beautiful shot of each and every single driver making their way through the hairpin, now through the start-finish line. And, with 13 minutes and 30 to go, Mick Anderson leads after lap number 1. Chris Knox a close 2nd, and Shane Piggott really trying to defend from James Neve.
See Lee Holmes now correctly reflected as a pro driver. He is in the 8th position, chasing down Michael Seal, or at least trying to follow him. So a very similar position to race 1 for him. Well, he's not the same position on the racetrack, but still looking at the same rear end of the same car.
Yeah, he's just looking at it, trying to find a way past. It's going to be interesting, Andrew, to see if he can do it and where he can do it. And you can see up ahead, drivers are making moves, and you can see already a few drivers are electing to go around the outside of turn number 5. That's not something we see very so often, but looks like that just worked. And, we're going to see these 2 going at it. That's Sam Smith and McEwen going at it on the entry and the middle part of the S's. And around the outside, Andrew, Smith got that position beautifully.
Round the outside for Sam Smith. Goes on by turn 10. He's driving away, but he might be sideways there. Goes off the racetrack, and the 527, I think, is in the wall. Yes, he is.
Oh, that's unfortunate for him. He's going to be beating himself, but looks like not a lot of damage, if any. You can see him really losing the back end. I think he may actually hit the handbrake by accident a little bit. You can see Anderson setting the fastest lap of the race at 118.3, as this battle is still very much alive. That's Lee Holmes and Michael Seal battle for 6th place.
Teammates still close together up front. James Neve on Shane Piggott. Just gonna say Neve got on by him for third, but no, he goes on by, sure, but that's only because Shane Pickett's off in the dirt, and no, Fiona Siddons nearly clobbers the back end of the Chrome 27. Humberstone checks up, and Shane Pickett drops down to the 15th position now.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hurt him a little bit. He was running in third place, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Was he? Yeah. So I saw that car going really unsettled on the entry of 2 on the previous lap, and it looks like that just caught him. You can see a few extra. That's Sir Alan Toon, isn't it? Exiting the pits, and James Holman, unfortunately, my pick for the win. Well, he's not going anywhere, Andrew.
No, he is not. Let's go back and find out what happened to him here. This is into turn 2 off the start of the race. I believe that's Robin Walters to the inside, and Martin Johnson behind him potentially. Contact there. This is down to turn 3. Oh, there's some contact ahead. One car comes over. Oh, my goodness. 1-2 punch.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's all she wrote. You can see the suspension damage, and I think he's just going to park it maybe even before turn number 4. But yeah, that's all she wrote for the number 4 of James Holman, and he's going to be stuck on the pit lane for race number 2. So they definitely did not go his way. This is Fiona Siddons, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew. And looks
Sir
like
he's got the red, she's got the pink, and this will be a problem into turn 3. And
very too much speed.
That's going to be his race done.
Unfortunate as well. You can see the suspension is already collapsed. And yeah, unfortunately for him as well, after a strong race number 1, wasn't it, Andrew? And unfortunately, race number 2 did not go to plan as well.
A couple of teammates battling further back in the field, 4th and 5th here for McEwen and Seal. As these guys go on, Shane Pickett drops down. And that's what we were originally going to go back and look at. We still will try and get a look at Pickett's issue. But there is Shane Pickett. He's in that 15th spot. 3 seconds, almost 4 seconds behind Craig Schill. He was on the racetrack. He's still going here, JP. But well down the order now. It'll be tough to bring that one back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really difficult to get back in the rhythm. Especially, I think it was a mistake on his own. So it's really going to take a few laps at least to get his confidence back. We're going to take a look at exactly what happened to him. You can see he's in 3rd place. We just saw a driver really going wide. I'm pretty sure that was Sam Smith. On the hairpin, no contact was made. But Andrew, due to how close these two were, I wonder if that was any contact.
This is James Neve behind him. I've got the same sneaky suspicion as you here, JP. I think there might be some contact through turn 1. Pickett hard on the brakes early, gets sideways. It's all on his own. Wow.
Yeah.
Just catches the end of that wall.
And luckily for him, the bumper comes back in. Well, luckily for him, Andrew, that was not his race over as well. He hit it really dead on in the center. You can see Fiona Siddons almost rear-ending him. But wow, kind of a lucky escape from the number 27.
I mean, that is right in the engine, right in the radiator, but with the way iRacing damage sometimes works, I think he's okay. I mean, he's continued on to this point. I think he got luckier by hitting the end of that concrete wall, then hitting those barriers with the side of the car and damaging the suspension. So, usually you'd want to hit the tires. This time you want to hit that concrete wall. Very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, he's going to be thinking after he sees the replay. But yeah, we're going to take a look at exactly how much he's able to come back. We're on board with Daly right now. He's chasing Walters for the 10th place. And I like what I'm seeing, Andrew. We have 5 pro drivers in the top 10 and 5 pro-am drivers in the top 10. And Walters, well, he's in 10th place. He's trying to hold off for that position, as well as chasing Scott Malcolm ahead.
Yeah, big change from race 1, where it was all pro drivers aside from Neve and Smith in the top 10. And you didn't have a single one outside the top 10. Now you've got Stephen Daly in the 11th position that we're watching now in car 64. Then Shane Pickett in 15th. And James Holman is down there in the 18th spot out of this race. So we'll only have 17 cars, it looks like, eligible for our invert in this race. Big changes here between races 1 and 2. And we've got a battle between teammates here. Look at this. 3 fun, time for fun motorsport cars in a row. Neve, McEwen, and Seal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. You can see Neve now falling under pressure from McEwen, and Seal very much not far behind. You can see them taking a little cone for a stroll on the hairpin. And Andrew, I'm not quite sure what you do if you're either one of them. Do you overtake your teammates? Do you try to talk them out of your way? What do you do?
You know, between Andy and Michael, they've actually been very, very friendly this season, and Seal goes purple there. I think you just wait until the last lap, last quarter, see what happens. And these two ahead, though, they might have to figure something out a little more urgently. For the win, you've got Mick Anderson and Chris Knox just about nose to tail. See, when it's third, fourth, and fifth, it's a little bit different than when it's for first and second.
Oh, absolutely. And these two, well, they're going to have to be careful because the drivers behind are they're flying. They're going really quickly. And if these two engage in any sort of side-by-side battle, they're really going to slow themselves down and open the opportunity for those drivers behind to really catch up. Anderson is doing a fantastic job of holding Knox. And Knox, well, he's just keeping up, Andrew. And I wonder if he's trying to go for your strategy, you know, just waiting for the final few laps to maybe just try to pounce and leave Anderson with absolutely no chance of fighting back. You can see him flashing his headlights. I wonder if he's listening to us in the background.
Pretty surprised, honestly, that Chris Knox hasn't challenged Mick Anderson a bit more in this race. So we've got an onboard here with Knox. A good exit, clips some of the corner off there, but it's more momentum for Mick Anderson around the long way. I'm still just very surprised that Chris Knox is not closer to Mick, if not side by side with him at this point in the race. I thought Chris would have had this one in the bag. Oh, that's loose there. Hang on to it. He does, just barely.
Yeah, we saw how loose some cars can get, obviously, you know, looking back at Shane Piggott. But yeah, it's really tricky. It looks like going uphill, and especially when you're pushing, the car really has a tendency to go quite unsettled, quite into a drift mode. But he was able to catch that back. But you can see just how close he is, Andrew. Less than 0.2 of a second, pretty much pushing the Civic ahead of him. And yeah, he's just pushing to the limits. And his teammate, well, looks like he's not making any mistakes due to the pressure so far.
A little further in the field, Martin Johnson and Ian Manners are doing some battle. Martin Johnson in the 12th spot, Manners in 13th. Manners going to take a look at the inside, and he's there alongside for the 12th position, but no dice just yet. Can't quite make that move, and here comes Craig Schill now to do some battle. Now for the 13th, oh, he barely cleared that. That was very close to contact.
Yeah, that was extremely close between those two. Craig absolutely leaving nothing on the table, trying to get that position, but well, no dice so far, really trying to close that gap down. Craig is surprisingly, Andrew, the last place in the Pro-Am class. Can you believe that?
No, I can't actually. Out of 8 of them, he is, as you mentioned, dead last currently. Trying to change that, though, as he battles here with Ian Manners. And you can see the weather has changed a little bit. I don't think we remembered to go through it in the first race, but overcast conditions here in race 2. The air temp is still 65 degrees, but the track temp is down to 88. So a bit of a change here for race 2, a bit of a cooler track, clouds overhead, but it's still relatively warm on the asphalt itself.
Yeah, absolutely, and that could be the reason why, Andrew, we're seeing a few drivers skating around on the uphill of turn number 1, quite a bit warmer than we're used to so far in the season, so it could be a different challenge for them. But look at this battle, Andrew, look at this train. It's really good to see cars, you know, just following one another so closely. Obviously, that could lead up to mistakes, and well, if mistakes happen, you're going to be under threat. And look at this. This is Manners and Johnson going for it, and Schill just holding back, trying to find an opportunity, but it didn't come so far. He really needs to try and overtake this instead of maybe waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Scott Malcolm is just ahead of Stephen Daly and Robin Walters. This is for 9th, 10th, and 11th, just ahead of those guys, Martin Johnson, Ian Manners, and Craig Schill. On board here with Robin Walters, somebody we've not talked about a whole lot this season. Unfortunately, I think when we have said Robin's name, it's been mostly around incidents, but a clean race here in race 2 of round number 4, and challenging to get into the top 10 is Schill. I think he's just gotten on by Manners. Yes, he has.
There we go. That's exactly what he needs, and he's very close to Johnson ahead, so he could maybe try to do something up into turn number 2. It's going to be very difficult, but definitely possible. Up ahead still remains unchanged, but Daly really applying a lot of pressure from Scott Malcolm. You can see how much Malcolm has dropped away, and looks like even more trouble maybe for Piggott. I can see the suspension bobbling around, Andrew, so I wonder if he had any more contact with the wall on the right-hand side of the car.
I would think so, as here comes Glenn Humberstone. And really, Shane may as well just go ahead and... I wouldn't say take the toe, actually, just in case you get the invert, but he's not going to be able to save any more positions. He is dead last as the car is running. The only cars behind him now are James Holman and Sir Alan Toon, both in the pit lane, both 8 laps down. Let's go back and see what happened here to Shane Piggott, his most recent issue. And we mentioned the bad luck that he's had this season. Race 1 finally turned that around, was looking so good, and now big problems again.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at exactly what happened. You can see this is down into the hairpin. Braking the car keeps it straight. The bumper kind of pops out, Andrew, under the
Oh,
G-force, and just hits the front tires on those tire barriers walls. And I mentioned that on the pre-race broadcast. If you just go a little bit slower, those front tires are really gonna bite, and that was a possibility.
let's see if we can get a better look at it here. That's through turn 10, and you called it out. Just barely clips those tires on the inside of turn 11. When he got to this point, I was starting to think maybe he just got the tires here. Didn't think it might actually be the case right there. Yeah, wow.
And it's a really odd scenario. You normally don't go that tight, especially on those last end tires. You're applying pressure
Well,
and
you want
letting
to
the
try
car
to get that
slide.
close. You just don't usually get that line, right? It's so hard to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately for him, he proved that, well, it's possible, and that's really going to hurt him. You can see the leaders are approaching him, and he's going to fall a lap down on the last lap of the race as well. But yeah, up ahead remains unchanged. Anderson from Knox. Andrew, do you think anything changes on the last lap?
We shall see, as there's Shane Piggott, as you mentioned, in the pit lane. Now, he might still be eligible for the invert as he's coming in and should only go one lap down at the end of this race. But problems there. Mick Anderson leads across for the white flag. And Chris Knox in that second spot, certainly going to hound his teammate here, RD Simsport 1-2. They want to leave it that way, but I think Chris Knox wants to at least change the order here, as it's a Honda leading a Hyundai Elantra in second place.
The number 66 leading the number 88. The number 88 definitely wants to change that. You can see Anderson going a little bit defensive. That gap has come down between first and third to 1.7 seconds. And you can see already, Andrew, Chris Knox really challenging his teammates. Going to go down. He's out of turn number 5. The number 88, the Hyundai, is going to try to get that position. But the number 66 is going to try to hold it. They're going to go side by side. You can see two RD Sim Sport cars going side by side through the SS. Who's going to come out on top?
Chris Knox gets the spot. It's the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. And through the bottom of the S's now, Neve is closing in. These two teammates might open up a potential for one of those cars behind to stick their nose in, but I don't think it's going to happen. Down to turn number 11 now. Chris Knox with the race lead, and he has got that spot over Mick Anderson nicely, beautifully. And I think he's going to take it home. Yes, he is. Out of turn 11, just turned 12 to go, and car 88 wins one in season 2 of 2022. It's race 2 of round 4. Congratulations there to Chris Knox.
Absolutely. Did it on the last lap. Didn't need second invitation. Just went for it. Neve is going to finish in third to win the Pro-Am class. Yeah, Andrew, that was a fun finale. Fiona Siddons is going to win the amateur class down in 15th place. Really good race from her as well. And yeah, I'm excited for race number 3 already.
Fiona Siddons through turn 11 now and headed up to turn 12. A much different result for her. She takes top honors in amateur competition today in race number 2, and Glenn Humberstone will exit turn 11 and take second place in his class. A nice, easy race for them. I really am impressed today with the way things have gone. The first couple of winners, at least of the day. Seal gets his second win on the season. Chris Knox gets his second win on the season. Are we going to see a trend here as the day goes on?
We could definitely see, but as we mentioned that, Andrew, our commentators, Chris, could definitely spoil that.
I just picked Chris Knox to win. Or, well, I picked Michael Seal, but yeah. I picked Seal, but I said Knox could win and should win, and he did. So, we'll go with it. And here we go. First full of the day.
Yep, that's going to make things a lot more interesting. I wonder if Shane Piggott is going to be eligible. If he is, well, fortune has definitely changed on his way, and I'm pretty sure Chris Knox won't be too happy after winning race number 3, having to start all the way back from 17th place, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's go ahead and bring up our race results. You can see Chris Knox only leading one lap, but it was just enough to get that win, JP. So crucial to always make sure you lead that final lap.
Absolutely. Well, he led the final lap. He led it across the line, and that's all he needed. Mick Anderson, unfortunately, lost the lead on that last lap. He's going to be heartbroken, but he's going to finish in second place, which is a really good result as well. James Neve is going to be third place to win the Pro-Am class. McEwen in fourth ahead of Michael Seal. Lee Holmes is going to come out in sixth place ahead of Sam Smith. Scott Malcolm in ninth place, and Stephen Daly in 10th.
Finishing 11th, it's Robin Walters in car 563 in Pro-Am. Then it's Martin Johnson and Craig Schill. Then Ian Manners taking, unfortunately, last there in their class. Headed all the way down through 20th, you've got Fiona Siddons with the win in Am. Then Glenn Humberstone, Shane Piggott, James Holman, Sir Alan Tuna. Looks like Alistair Hatcher connected, but never did start the race. And will be credited, it looks like, with the 20th position in this one. 12 more laps done, JP. 24 laps to go technically between the next two races. Your pick that time didn't quite work out. Go ahead and pick again.
Oh, you want another driver to hate me? I'm gonna go for Shane Piggott, actually.
Shane Piggott from Pole. It's not a bad play by any means.
No.
I like where you're going with that. What do you say
What
when
about
you
you?
see Stephen Daly potentially? He's the
Interesting.
next pro driver in line with a group of pro-ams and ams up the hill for turns 1 and 2 for the first time in race 3. Maybe there's some calamity and maybe Stephen Daly gets on through. Let's go car 64, change things up a little bit, see what he can do, starting from, it looks like, the 8th position maybe, when things get rolling here for race 3. That said, we'll be right back in just a few moments. Again, it's the Sonoma Raceway for BSRTC. It's round number 4, race 3 on the way.
wanna cry.
Welcome back to the virtual Sonoma Raceway as we get ready for race number 3 on the afternoon. And well, I say on the afternoon, but if we come back into the sim here, JP, you will see it looks a little more like evening. The sun is setting, the skies are darkening, it's overcast, and it's certainly one heck of an aura here for race number 3. A couple of different winners: Michael Seal, Chris Knox in races 1 and 2, and race 3 going to be a little bit different, I think.
Oh, absolutely. The full invert that we just had definitely gonna make things a lot more interesting. Was it 17 drivers we had inverted entry, wasn't it?
Yeah, 17 all the way down through Shane Piggott.
Yeah, there you go. So quite a lot of drivers being inverted. Obviously, those who just won, those who finish actually in the top 5 are gonna have a big challenge, and those who finish in the bottom end of race number 2, well, they're gonna have, I guess, a chance to do it better in race number 3, Andrew, and I'm pretty sure they won't want to miss it.
Here's a look at Sonoma Raceway in case you're not quite familiar with it. It is a 12-turn circuit, at least on this format of it. On the longer course, the longer configuration here at Sonoma, you take a right-hander after 3A. So much like turn 4, but a little bit different. It heads you into a bit of an infield section. It is an abrupt right-hander right after turn 3A. It heads you into that middle part where there is no racetrack, and then you can take another right-hander, headed back towards turn 3 almost. It's a long carousel, but right between turns 3 and 7 on this layout. That's turn 5 on that course, I believe, and that brings you down through bottom of the carousel down to the drag strip, and then right out to a hairpin at the turn 5 on this shorter course. So things a little bit different there, but I'm glad that we have this shorter layout personally, as Martin Johnson, it seems, might actually be given the pole. I don't know why that would be, but he is going to get pole, interestingly enough. Shane Piggott will roll off from the 2nd spot. Starting in the 3rd spot is Craig Schill, then James Neve. I don't think this is correct at all. Huh. Well, regardless, it is close. It's not quite right. You'll see that Michael Seal will start from the 9th position, Stephen Daly from 10th. So things not quite right for the invert, but we do at least have Shane Piggott towards the front of the field, and I think he's a good pick for this next race win, quite potentially. Through the rest of the field, you see guys like Sam Smith, Chris Knox back there. It's going to start now from 12th. Lee Holmes from 13th, and we are ready for race number 3 as Martin Johnson is on pole. Green flag will fly. A clean turn 1, almost a clean turn 2, a couple of bits of contact there, but mostly clean as we go to turn 3 for the first time in race number 3. And your leader, JP, is Craig Schill.
Craig Schill leading, and I'm pretty sure he wants to hold that position for the time being. We're going to have to see a few drivers, doing rally cross excursions on the exit of 3B down into turn number 4. But looks like everybody makes it through safely, Andrew. We're still seeing quite a few side-by-side actions, as you can see the rest of the field making their way. And look at this, we have a lot of drivers very close to one another, but looks like no contact was made.
Headed down to the S's now for the first time in this race. A good look at the field here, snaking on through, headlights are lit. And we'll go down to turn 10. Turn 10 is going to be scary, I think, as a full field, and it has been throughout the course of the day. Such a fast corner at the bottom of the hill here. So easy to make a mistake like that for Martin Johnson. Runs a little bit wide and gives up a little bit of time.
Yeah, but look at the exit. Look at everybody coming up to the hairpin. We're gonna see definitely some moves. You can see on your screen a few RD Sim Sport cars going down the inside. That's gonna force the drivers on the outside to really take a wide line. But Craig Schill, Andrew, he's still leading it, and he has a comfortable 1.2 second gap back to Johnson.
Johnson with company from James Eve, who has been absolutely sensational this afternoon. 507, oh, right under the back of car 505 there. Neve is simply good here at Sonoma. Really, really good in that 507 car. I think he fits as a Pro-Am this season. I think he's had a few races where he's a little behind his teammates of McEwen and Seal, but today he is well ahead of them.
Yeah, he's ahead of them, and you can see a few cars again going wide on the exit of 3B. You can see drivers really taking that curb, really getting close to the tire barrier. Oh, you can see how close they are, Andrew. I'm surprised we still haven't seen anyone touching those tire barriers, but you can see this battle right here for the top 5, the top 4, still very much alive.
If we go 8 races between Tuesday and today without any cars hitting that wall, I want a refund. Watching a battle, Hero Scott Malcolm and Sam Smith will go down to turn 10. Malcolm is in 6th, Smith in 7th, and Stephen Daly just behind him in the 8th position. He is one of your top pro drivers in this race so far. In 8th, and he's going to go well at the inside of Sam Smith here. What a move!
Really good move, really bold on the exit as well. They're going to drag race, Andrew. This is definitely not over. They're going to go side by side through turns number 12 and through the start finish line, and they're pretty much equal. They're pretty much on the same I guess gap to the car ahead, but on the outside lane. Yep, you just carry a bit more speed, and that's move done.
Craig Schill has got problems in car 582. He's off in turn 2, out of the race lead.
Out of the race lead and out of the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
We'll go back and see what happens here to Craig Schill, all the way back to the middle of the S's last lap, or well, I guess the bottom of the S's here. So watch car 582. You can see the 01 there on the left side of his car, lit up in blue LEDs. He was the leader from the start of the race, and makes a pretty big mistake, it looks like, in turn number 2 this time.
Yeah, the same corner that caught out Shane Piggott in race number 2, caught up Craig Schill, and I wonder, Andrew, if it was more of the same, if it was the car just getting unsettled, and that's really gonna hurt him, because you can see how much of a gap he had second place. Early on, you can say he had this on the back, but on the approach to turn number 2, oh yeah, the car just got way loose. Wow.
Doesn't hit anything, though, it looks like. Good catch there from Craig not to damage that car. And, yeah, that could have been a whole lot worse. Now a problem live for Mick Anderson. Will come to the replay for this. And he's going to have a big problem through the S's. Was so good. Almost won race number 2, and now much the opposite.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, we're going to take a look at exactly what happened to him. You can see him coming up to the S's. What is going to happen? Hit those curbs. Nothing done. Around here, hits that curb again. So far, I wonder, Andrew, if it was just on turn 10. We saw on the previous race one driver really going wide, and on the entry in turn number 9, essentially, he just hits that curb. It kind of just tags the car, and oh, he cannot save it.
Into the wall there. And now a problem for Scott Smith, just ahead of these guys. And this is going to be up turn 1 to turn number 2. Off in the dirt there. Oh, gets hit by Sam Smith as well, but it's all Scott's fault, really. He just got offline and bonsai'd that corner. That was just as we were watching the replay there previously for Mick Anderson.
Yeah, just unfortunate for him. But as you mentioned, a mistake on his own as well. Now cutting back to live picture. This is our new race leader. This is Johnson. He's holding off Neve, Andrew, and he's under a lot of pressure. You can see the top 3, less than 1 second separating those 3. So really close overall. I mean, you can see a whole top 5 from this one shot, the whole top 6 essentially. So this is really close. Johnson under a lot of pressure, and look at that, number 4 of James Holman setting the fastest lap of the race.
Both Johnson and Eve have had a couple of excursions, it looks like. Maybe a little bit of contact as well, as those cars are scraped up, banged up, and Johnson wide at 3A. That's going to open the door to turn 4, and here comes James Eve to the inside. Holds himself back, though. A good veteran move there, not to force the issue, as now his teammate looks to the inside for turn 5, and Neve is going to have to give that one up. There's Shane Piggott, almost makes contact.
Yeah, almost made contact with Neve just ahead. Tried a bit too hard. And, well, he's going to stick in 4th place for the time being. But the number 27, Andrew, he's not Looks like he's not holding too back this time around. He's really going for it if the move is there, but unfortunately it wasn't there this time around. And I wonder if he gets a good enough run on the exit of 10. He's really closing up. He has to kind of adjust his line, so I don't think he'll be close enough to try and go for a move, but well, that definitely is a wake-up call to Neve to let him know that the number 27, well, he's playing it. He's really going for it on this time around.
There was some extracurricular activity that time with Stephen Daly, Sam Smith, and I think Chris Knox maybe as well. Daly's got the 6th spot now over Sam Smith in 7th. Seal goes purple there. And Craig Schill and James Holman are close by. Andy McEwen now goes purple at 116. Holman went purple the last lap before, so Holman moving his way through the field. Craig Schill in the 13th spot now. Robin Walters, Scott Smith also back here. Now, a happy little reminder that last week at Knock Hill, Scott Smith actually won overall in race number 3. Now he's 15th position in race 3 at Sonoma. What a difference a week makes.
Absolutely. How the tables turn, isn't it, Andrew? It's crazy to see how much a performance can swing. Obviously, you know, each and every single driver has their preferred racetracks, and obviously the ones that, you know, they're really used to. But it's crazy to see how the performance just really swings from track to track, isn't it?
Well, and of course, he's got a Knock Hill logo on his car, so I'd imagine he's local to Knock Hill and is quite good there. Here we go for the race lead. Michael Seal with the advancement here on Martin Johnson down to turn 11. And through the hairpin, no dice just yet for Michael Seal, but he's there, almost contact. Johnson able to clear him, maybe? It's going to be close, doesn't have him quite cleared, almost contact. Sam Smith has got an issue.
Oh no, you can see him dropping from 15th. You're gonna drop even more, but you can see these two going at it. They're gonna, well, Seal is gonna have to go around the outside. Can he hold it for the time being? Yes. Does not wash too wide. They're still gonna go side by side. I don't think Johnson cleared him. He didn't. But well, now he did, and he's definitely gonna hold that position. Wow. Really good driving from these two, Andrew. And you can see further back, looks like even more action we're gonna be seeing. And it looks like Malcolm just had a problem as well.
Scott Malcolm down the order, Stephen Daly in the wall. Big problems back here. There's Malcolm. Sam Smith is slow again. Stephen Daly in the wall. He's hurt. Malcolm goes on by. For the race lead, Johnson and Seal with Neve and Piggott very close behind.
They're extremely close. This is a good little battle for second and third. We're watching right here. You can see just how close Seal is and how close Piggott also is from everybody. You can see Seal almost looking down the inside of turn number 10. That's a crazy spot, and that's really gonna help him on the exit. He kind of has to back off, but a number 505 needs to give him room. Seal's gonna have the inside line, but well, cannot really go around him. You can see Neve's gonna be trying to force around the outside, Andrew, but that's really gonna make him fall under pressure from Piggott right behind it.
One more lap of the books. Martin Johnson continues to lead. Michael Seal still second. James Neve still third. So everybody holding station currently, but not for long. I think that's going to change this lap potentially. Seal wide at turn 2. Here comes Neve up the inside. Piggott has a look. Chris Knox now with an issue. He's in the pit lane after winning race number 2.
Yeah, you can see just again how the turntables for that driver. Chris Knox, unfortunately, with bad luck striking him. Look at this now. Shane Piggott, after, well, finishing one lap down and having issues on his own on race number 2, he's battling essentially for the lead around here, Andrew. This is not only a battle for third place, this is a battle for first, as everybody kind of just bunched up. You can see especially Seal and Neve, they're not battling too much, but you can see just how much speed Seal has on this part of the racetrack, because he's always closing up to Johnson. He's gonna try to make the same move. He gets really close, they make contact. Seal gets loose. He's gonna lose quite a bit of time, but he's not gonna lose the position.
Johnson can keep doing exactly what he's doing, I think, and hang on to this win. 4.5 minutes to go, plus about 10 seconds they pass. It looks like Andrew Littler in the wall there in turn number 9, and yes, that is car 999 making his first start of the day in race number 3. Piggott and Neve, they swap spots. Neve drops back into 4th. Michael Seal with maybe a chance here with a lap car ahead of Martin Johnson, and he's flashing him as well. Might be flashing for that lap car. I'm not entirely sure. Is that, I think that's Sir Alan Toon ahead. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so Sir Alan Toon really needs to essentially pull off to the side on the safest location. That just might be on the exit of 3, Andrew, I think. Between 3 and 4, that's a safe place to park it, because if he, well, doesn't, he's really going to get in the way of this battle and could really swing the battle for the lead. You can see, looks like Johnson kind of checked up a little bit, but looks like Seal is just going to hold right back between him. So no position done. Pickett still in 3rd place, but look at this. Johnson forced to go defensive. This could really swing on the exit of 5.
Allen played nice, got out of the way. Michael Seal right on the back end of Martin Johnson. So close, almost pushing him there out of turn 5. Still on him through 6. Still on him through 7 as we go down to turn 8 and 9. And car 57, he is just so good today. He's got something working for him nicely. Won that first race of the day, looked good in race number 2, couldn't quite win it. And now in race 3, doing everything he can to work on the back end of the car 505. Shane Pickett, though, almost contact there at 11. I think Pickett did hit him a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe just
Might have helped
got
him.
into. Yeah, look at the run that Seal got, but Johnson once again really closing in that door. He needs to close maybe the inside. I'm not quite sure, Andrew, which line you want to close up to the 1s and 2, but looks like he's just going to be 100% clear of Michael
Shane
Seal.
Pickett.
Oh, no,
No.
once again, and he's going to take someone out.
Takes Lee Holmes with him. The second
no.
time he's done that. I can't believe it.
Just so tricky. Looks like the Veloster really doesn't like the entry, the approach to turn number 2, but you can see these 4 now, Andrew. Now it's 3 cars, 3 teammates. Well, they pretty much can work together to pass Johnson. Johnson really struggling around here. You can see how defensive he's going. You can see Seal really flashing his headlights as well, and that's kind of forcing Johnson into maybe a few sort of mistakes. You can see him miss a little bit of the apex on turn number 5. Now on the approach to the exit, he has a lapped car he needs to navigate. Can he do it cleanly? Yes, he can, but look at how
They're
close
inside of each
Seal
other for a
gets.
moment. Wow, that was weird. Michael Seal all over the back end of the all over the back end of the Distinction Motorsport 505. There we go. 2 minutes to go here, 120 seconds. That's through turn 10. Here we go to 11. Oh, barely hangs onto it there. Contact through the hairpin. And finally, Seal might have his opportunity.
Absolutely, this could really help. He's pretty much alongside. Johnson's going to have the inside through 12. He's going to lead this lap as well. But on the outside, you really get a good run up into turn number 2. What can Johnson do? Can he close the door on the number 57?
Wow.
Yes, he can. Beautiful defending by Johnson. Seal has to be fuming, Andrew.
He just needs to keep doing this, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He just needs to force Johnson to a mistake. But, I mean, how many times? Oh, there we go. This could be his opportunity, and it is.
Finally, Michael Seal gets on by. I think Johnson, there's a small lapse there on exit, but he's going to hang on a second, and he's not done. Martin Johnson with a big run to the inside. That is aggressive blocking. Come on.
That's really aggressive, going really to the wall. And luckily, no contact was made.
McEwen gets a bit of contact there with Johnson. And that is the win. Done and dusted. Michael Seal takes away. And here we go. Yes, car 4 goes on by James Neve. Parks it in front of Neve. Wow.
Wow, I just said it at the exact same time. Really good battles we're seeing right here, and I'm really liking this. Now Johnson, well, he needs to hold on for second place. You can see now that's McEwen right behind him. Look at on the exit that no, they're going to be same on the exit, but the Audi is really closing. So Holman could have something to say on the final lap of the race, Andrew, if things do get a little bit spicy.
I'm surprised Johnson didn't take the opportunity to send Seal there into 5. That's still fresh in my mind, but he was doing everything he had to do, JP. I'm very impressed by the defense he put on. He was just, and now he's a little bit off rhythm, I think, making mistakes there. Gives up the apex. Oh, and he hits McEwen there. Got to be careful of that. I want to door somebody off the racetrack. Hangs on to second now. McEwen might be apt to send him now in turn 4 as Holman comes up, and McEwen's off. Here comes Holman now for the second spot.
Oh, Holman doesn't need a second invitation. He's going to get McEwen, and McEwen is actually going to drop 2 positions, if I'm not mistaken. So there we go. That's how quickly, and there we go. So Holman wasting no opportunity to try to go down the inside of Johnson. He's not going to be able to hold that position, but wow, Andrew, he really wants the second place on the final lap of the race. He's kind of far away from Johnson, but if he can close up on the S's, the hairpin is definitely a valid opportunity to try and get the position.
What a battle here in race 3. We couldn't even take our eyes off of it for a moment. A lot has gone on deep in the field. Martin Johnson going to win here in Pro-Am, it looks like, but not done yet. And for amateur, it looks like it's going to be Alistair Hatcher way down in 11th spot. Holman behind Johnson, and yes, Holman will hang on, or well, Johnson will hang on to that spot as Manners and Walters do some battle. You saw a couple of contact there as across the line of the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. It is a checkered flag now for Michael Seal. A couple more battles to the line there. That is race number 3.
And I think you can only say one thing. Wow.
Sonoma has definitely been a success.
I mean, it's always a success in my mind.
Fiona Siddons across the line, the last lead lap car to cross. Mick Anderson now will come across as a car 1 lap down. Anderson in 14th. We had a lot of chaos further back in the field that we just couldn't quite get to. Sir Alan Toon in 13th spot, 1 lap down. Mick Anderson in 14th, 1 lap down. Sam Smith in 15th, Scott Smith in 16th rather. Those guys both go 1 lap down. Andrew Littler will come across and finish this race, albeit in 17th spot, 4 laps down. And Chris Knox drops down to 18th, some 5 laps down, ahead of Malcolm and Daly, who are also 5 laps down. Humberstone 11 laps down. So these guys will finish the race, and we'll take our invert here. And that is race 3 done and dusted in dramatic fashion as well. Looks like we have up to 16 cars eligible for this invert, JP. Here we go.
So take your pick, Andrew, already. Do we get another full?
Oh, it might be. It's that or 11. I think it's going to be 11. Yeah, it's going to stop right in the middle there of 11. So another small invert. But what that does do is take your amateur winner of race number 3, Alistair Hatcher, and put him on pole, and then flip the rest of the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the top 10, well, unofficially, it looks like this. Michael Seal is going to win the race ahead of Martin Johnston, who's going to win the Pro-Am class in 2nd place. James Holman is going to finish in 3rd place ahead of James Neve. Andrew McEwen in 5th ahead of Ian Manners. Robin Walters in 7th place ahead of Lee Holmes. Craig Schill in 9th. And Shane Piggott in 10th place.
Finishing 11th, it's Alistair Hatcher. Fiona Siddons goes 12th, and that's the separation there for pole. Alistair will get pole after winning here in amateur in race number 3. Alan Toon will finish 13th. Mick Anderson 14th. You can see the rest of these guys that we already kind of went through all the way down through the top 20. Definitely a dramatic race. You can see the effects of this race for some of these guys. Malcolm down the order in 18th spot, 5 laps down. Daly and Knox with a lot of trouble there in 19th and 20th. So a lot of really good days. For example, like Stephen Daly and Chris Knox, just completely out the window. One race, and that'll do it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Things can really change up. But Andrew, I'm pretty sure everybody's really going to want to, well, not go out of a banger, but really put a really strong race number 4 because, well, that's the last opportunity you have to make up some points.
And so the weather here, once again, it had cooled down to 66 degrees on the racetrack. So a cooler race here in race 3 that we thought grip would be up, but definitely still issues. We saw Shane Piggott have a problem up into turn 2. So I think that turn 1, turn 2 kind of transition there is catching a lot of cars out. We'll see if they can battle that a little bit better here in race number 4 to end the day. A reminder about all of our upcoming broadcasts here at Pit.TV. We still have one race to go today, but in case you're wondering about what's going up here on the channel, this is a good look at it. The North American Racing League heads to Circuit Zolder. It's the other track in Belgium this evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Sunday, we've got MPI Cup Series action on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. That kicks off at 9 p.m. Eastern. And Tuesday afternoon, we come right back to it with 8 p.m. Eastern, or sorry, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, with the British Sim Racers MX-5s at Road America. So a lot of really good stuff coming up. I know I say that a lot, but we've got Circuit Zolder tonight, then Bristol Dirt on Sunday, then we kick right back into it with our normal groove of things on Tuesday with Road America, and then Red Bull Ring for the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Series to end their season. A lot of really cool action coming up here on Pit.TV. Before we get to that, though, JP, one driver is standing by to talk to you, and that is Fiona Siddons, who just finished 12th.
So, Fiona Siddons, so far, I'd say it was a pretty okay day for you. Wouldn't you agree?
It's going well. I've got to thank Alan Toon. In free practice, I was going to quit in frustration because I just couldn't get on with the track. And I've had some good results. I'm leading the AM class over the 3 races. So.
Ain't that something nice to hear? Obviously, I'm pretty sure you won race number 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, how does that feel? How different actually it is, the MX-5 from the TCRs around here?
The MX-5 is a lot easier around here to drive than what this is, but I'm slowly getting the hang of it now.
Absolutely. And if looking forward to race number 4, what are your expectations?
The aim is now, because I'm leading over the 3 races so far, just make sure I get to the finish.
do you take a little bit safer, or do you go for a few crazy moves here and there?
It's easy to say I'll take it safe, but once them lights go green, the racing driver's head switches on, and
and we don't think straight anymore. But yeah, Fiona, I'm gonna be wishing you the best. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully it's not a commentary curse, but hopefully you come out of this race still leading. But yeah, with that being said, have a good race number 4. Focus on it, and well, finish in one piece.
yeah, thank you guys.
Absolutely, Andrew. That was Fiona Siddons. Happy to see her leading the amateur class. That's a nice thing to say. That's a nice thing to hear, actually. Hopefully, you know, that trend continues on race number 4.
Yeah, I mean, just the consistency purely out of car 927 today, just keeping the car alive, and even when she had that issue in race 1, I believe it was, keeping the car rolling. That's big. That really does pay dividends at the end of the season when you tie up all the points and try and find a champion. So Fiona Sidding is doing exactly what she needs to do today, keeping the car together at least as best as she can, and certainly keeping the car running. That's what matters the most in these quick 15-minute races. That is race 3 out of the way now, so race 4 is on the way. It's an 11-car invert, one of the smaller ones that we have an option for, in fact, tying it for the smallest of the day. We'll be right back in just a few moments for race number 4. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the virtual Sonoma Raceway. Race 4 now on the way here, JP, and things are staying nice and dark. It's not the pitch black that we saw on Tuesday, but it is overcast, guys. It's sunset, the temps are down, the headlights are on, and we're ready for a 4th race in the day.
Absolutely. I'm very excited, very happy for this 4th race. And Andrew, I mean, as I always say on the 4th race of the day, it's the last opportunity for these drivers to get points. It's the last opportunity for these drivers to either make up some positions or defend their own. So really important to make sure they all finish and finish in a good position.
And the invert of 11 cars will make things a little more difficult on certain drivers, of course, but it'll be the same drivers looking fast in this one. Lee Holmes leading in warm-up so far. James Neves second. James Holman third. Shane Piggott, Craig Schill, Ian Manners. Andy McEwen is a little ways down the order in the 7th spot in warm-up right now, but otherwise, everything looking about normal.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, on race, that's all going to change with, obviously, trying to overtake and traffic getting in the way sometimes, but so far, Andrew, this is a good opportunity for some drivers to essentially, put up some lap times to essentially tell their competition, look how fast I can go. Get ready for it if I'm behind you because, well, I'm faster.
Ooh, excuse me. Oh, man. The day is wearing on, certainly, but we will get ready for race number 4 now. 20 cars, it looks like, for this final go of things. And we will see our top of the starting order here. Alistair Hatcher will start from pole now. Shane Piggott will start from 2nd place. This looks a lot more correct. I think this is just about as it should be. Craig Schill will roll off from the 3rd position. Lee Holmes in 4th. Starting 5th, you'll find Robin Walters in the white 505. It's the 501 starting from 6th. Ian Manners and Andy McEwen will roll off from the 7th spot here. JP James Neves joining him in there on that 4th row. And to complete your inverted cars, it's James Holman, Martin Johnson, and Michael Seal.
Going to be an exciting 11 car invert. Fiona Siddons obviously in 12th place, just missing out. But Andrew, her day has been good, has been exciting. On race number 4, it's promising. You can see all the cars lined up. We're just waiting for the red lights, and there they come.
Red lights on, green lights coming, as Alistair Hatcher is on pole for the final race of the day here at Sonoma Raceway. Green flag is out, we're off and away. Already, Fiona Siddons off in the dirt.
That's bad luck. That's my commentator's curse once again. As we have a battle for the lead up into turn number 3, they're going to go side by side. You can see the rest of the field kind of a single file. We're going 3 wide on the approach to 4.
And Shane Piggott gets down to the apex first. He is battling for the race lead here with Alistair Hatcher as they come through turn 4.
This is crazy battle for the leads. Drivers are not wasting any opportunities, and there we go. We have, well, a leader essentially driving away, but you can see Andrew, the rest of the pack still battling for position. This is great to see.
Down to the S's for the first time. Shane Piggott, the leader. Then it's Craig Schill, Alistair Hatcher, Lee Holmes, and James Neves, your top 5. Up over the hill there through the S's. A couple of cars through the dirt. That's Alistair Hatcher losing a spot to his teammate. Now here comes James Neves on by.
You can see they're going to go through turns number 10 side by side. That could really be dangerous, but everybody makes it through. This is really good to see. And you can see steel cars going aggressively. Drivers going on moves further back. We're almost going 3 wide. Wow. Yeah, almost
Scott Smith just drove somebody down to the tires. Huh.
Indeed, interesting. But yeah, there you go. That's lap number 1, Andrew. Are you ready for plenty of more?
No, not quite. But it's going to happen anyways. Here we go. Shane Piggott, your leader. Craig Schill second. Then it's Lee Holmes, James Neves, and Andy McEwen. James Holman is in the 6th spot, just ahead of Michael Seal, who's got 2 wins of the day now. There's a lot of stuff happening further back. Here we go, side by side, some contact there. Oh, here comes Scott Smith through all of it. He goes to the inside there.
That's all he needed. You can see a bit of contact, and well, the positions just open up, and oh!
It's a crash, and Scott Smith has turned around there. This is a good opportunity to go back and see what in the world happened at turn 11. I think there was some aggressive blocking there on Chris Knox, and I'm very curious to see how that looked. Let's go ahead and fire up the replay.
So obviously we're going to be taking a look at that instead on the approach to the hairpin, isn't it, Andrew? that aggressive block that we saw on live picture just on the back, and you can see that is Chris Knox behind him, isn't it? Scott Smith obviously on that Honda, and you can see just the approach of the number 88. God goes a little bit on the gravel, darts to the inside line, but Scott just kind of closes a bit of the door.
Wasn't as bad as it looked live.
Yeah, no, but I think he just closes the door smartly under braking, that was, and well, that allowed him to retain the position.
This is the run across the start-finish line, and something happens down here to turn 4. We'll see how all of this kind of start up for these guys, as Alistair Hatcher has a problem live. We'll catch that after this replay. Scott Smith really aggressive there to turn 2 behind Martin Johnson and Sam Smith. We'll watch this onboard.
So taking a look, especially on the exit right here, you're going to see a bit of contact made. He just goes to the racing line, Andrew, and there you go. 2 free positions, well, 1 free position, and then obviously he's going to go side by side through turn number 4. And, well, I think it was just that curb. Yeah, you can see the 4 wheels on the air.
4 wheels in the air there for Scott Smith, and now a problem live for Alistair Hatcher. Well, it was live. It's now happened and kind of come and gone a little bit, but let's go back and find the issue for Alistair and see what happened. Watch the black and green number 964 there. Ahead of, that's Martin, not Martin, Mick Anderson just behind him.
So Anderson, you can see taking a bit of a tighter line. Alistair Hatcher on, just carries a bit too much speed, and unfortunately, as soon as he hit the brakes hard enough, Andrew, that back end just spun around. Really unfortunate to see a lot of self-made self-made mistakes on turns 1 and 2.
Let's go back towards the front. A couple of great battles up here. Craig Schill into it with Michael Seal and Andy McEwen. This is for the 5th position. And James Neve and James Holman are after it as well.
This is a good position. This is a good battle to see right here. And yeah, we're going to have to see who's going to come out on top. The last race, Andrew, Holman was really aggressive on the final few laps, and that really allowed him to get a few positions. Now, you can see just a few of those mistakes like that, just a small lockup, can really cost you a lot of time, and he's right back into the grasp of James Neve right here as they head into the S's.
Through the top of the S's. Holman still has that spot. That's for 3rd. A lot of the back of the field is spread out, but Anderson and Manners are close together. Robin Walters just behind. Chris Knox there as well. And if you go to the front of the field, Shane Piggott has a narrowing lead over Lee Holmes. Lee very good on the brakes there to turn 11 through the hairpin. And this is not the battle that I would have expected for our top 3. Shane Piggott, Lee Holmes, James Holman. Where were they in races 1 and 2?
Yeah, absolutely. This is really good pace from them. And obviously, Andrew, Shane Piggott, he needs to be careful in this approach right here. We saw what happened to him on race number 2 and 3, so it's a place where he needs to be careful. And currently, I mean, it's really good to see the top 3, such, I guess, different drivers, I guess you can say. So they're doing a really good job. Obviously, still 9 minutes to go. Plenty of racing still happening.
And 3 different cars as well. You've got the Hyundai Veloster leading, then it's the Honda Civic in 2nd, and an Audi TCR and Audi RS3 in the 3rd spot by way of James Holman. Hyundai Elantra in the 4th position with James Neve. So you've got all 4 different cars in the top 4. I don't want to hear it that any car was hurting any driver today.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see, I mean, it looks balanced, doesn't it, Andrew? Obviously, we have a bit more Elantras in the field, and we have Audis, then we have Velocitors, and then we have Civics. But it's really good to see, all 4 cars in the first 4 positions, and kind of, the same distance between them. It's kind of like they're running in the same pace.
Piggott still leads through the hairpin there. Nearing halfway in this final race of the day. Alistair Hatcher and Scott Smith, they do some battle with 1 car in the dirt. That is Alistair. Wow.
Well, the race not going his way, is it? Because Holman now sets the fast lap of the race, and we're going to take a look at exactly what happened to him.
This actually goes back quite a ways. Alistair Hatcher through turn 2, give up a little bit of time, it looks like, chasing down Andrew Littler here. And Malcolm is going to approach from behind. Malcolm just on a faster pace.
Yeah, you can see just a bit more faster pace and coming through 3B. So far, so good. The 964. Oh, you can see just already going down the inside of turn number 4. You can see poking the nose. And who's that in front of them? Is that Sir Alan Littler? Oh, there you go. So, yeah, Alistair Hatcher, I think, well, it's going to be on the mistake on the S's, isn't it? We saw.
And now a problem for Andrew Littler. We'll see this in just one moment. Alistair Hatcher blinks there. I can see where the issue came from. Yeah. But Andrew Littler in this issue. I wonder if there's any contact potentially with Scott Malcolm. Let's just watch this through.
You see Malcolm is pretty much pushing Littler, and I'm pretty sure he just... Does he allow him by? No. Just holds the middle ground, and you can see he kind of gets forced into a mistake. No, he hits the apex perfectly, but I wonder if on the exit... No, still pretty much squared off, so... Interesting, to say the least.
It's going to happen likely around turn 2 based on timing. We've seen that plenty today. So Littler up the hill. Malcolm up the right side. That's the inside for the corner, but Littler comes back across. Maybe turn 3 then.
On 3A, we go down the hill. Oh, this looks like it, yes. Oh, wow. That's aggressive.
That's one way to put it, into turn 3. Andrew Littler's race takes a big turn as he loses a lot of time and falls back to the 19th position. Shane Piggott still leading the race over a string of cars here through the S's. As there they all go. The top 5 cars are separated each by less than a second apiece.
It's really good to see this field going this closely. And you can see the whole top 4 ahead of McEwen just on his chart. You can see the leader, well, just really close. You can see Andrew. I mean, top 3 is separated by less than a second. Piggott from Holmes to Holman, really close between them. And yeah, this battle I think is definitely not over. We can definitely not choose a winner right here because it can go either way.
Top 3 getting very, very close here. Holman chasing Holmes, chasing Piggott here as we get 5.5 minutes to go. Neve and McEwen close by, then it's Seal, then Anderson. Chill is in 7th. Chris Knox and Ian Manners were close, but Knox starting to pull away now. As here's a look at Chris Knox over Ian Manners and Robin Walters. So the top 10 position here, 10th spot still very much up for grabs between these two. Nothing decided yet. Oh, we got one. We got one finally. I think that was Chris Knox.
There we go. I'm not pretty sure why we're happy about that, Andrew, but we finally got a contact with the tire barrier.
He just grazed it.
Yeah, you can see the mirror still hanging onto the car, so you can tell it was not a strong impact. But on the final lap of on the final race of the day, Andrew, wow, and he was pushing the limit there.
He just grazes that wall. We finally got somebody to hit that turn 4 wall just barely. So watch this for Chris Knox. We'll go slow-mo here just to prove it. Into turn 4, he's on his own. He's in the 9th spot. Got ahead of Ian Manners recently. And up over the curbing here, it's just going to be the lightest bit of contact with this turn 4 wall. It's a big one, and yeah, he just got out. He just carried too much speed, got way out there. Just hits it.
Oh, he got extremely lucky around that, and the car's behind him as well, because if he hits that tire barrier, Andrew, and gets stuck on it, oh, those cars behind him would not have so much luck, I think, getting past him. But wow, that was close. And yeah, the first one off the track. I mean, you can say Tuesdays we didn't have anyone in the final race of the day. We got one in. Well, I wonder if we're going to get another change for the lead. Last time around we saw a change for the lead on the final lap was, well, Chris Knox. Could we see another one?
The Holmes would like to change that up. Certainly like to take the lead on the final lap or earlier. I'm impressed with Shane Piggott in this race. I really, really am. The fact that he's brought this one back and holding his composure so far in this race, hasn't made that same mistake up turn 1, but now Lee Holmes bringing the fight. I think the Honda just a little better than the Veloster right now. And that's going to open up the door to James Holman, so we could have just the battle that Shane Piggott needs in order to hang on to this race lead. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go, and Holman is all over Holmes.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely trying to pressure the number 35 ahead of him. Definitely trying to find any way past. And we saw in the last race, Andrew, when he gets to the final laps of the race, the number 4 is not afraid to put the nose on the inside and trying to go for that move. So Lee really needs to be careful, especially around corners like this. If Holman gets a good enough exit, he might just go for the gap.
3 laps to go that time. Seal goes off in the dirt. Right close to that wall, each and every time. Oh, Holman! way down to the inside. I don't know where
There we
that
go.
move came from, but he gets to the inside of Holmes. Side by side, they'll go.
Yeah, Holmes gets a better exit though, and they're gonna have to go side by side. That's gonna allow Piggott to create a distance between them, but obviously they need to figure out
Contact.
who's gonna come out ahead. And with a little bit of door-to-door contact, Holman's gonna get ahead now. Holmes has to fend off Neve, and looks like they're gonna go side by side through 10. And they're still side by side, but the pro driver edge is just ahead, and now Neve has to fend off his teammate.
Neve on the outside, McEwen on the inside. No, flip that around. Neve on the inside, McEwen on the outside. As Holmes backs up to Holman. Just that little bit of contact, and Holmes drops down to the third spot. Was so close to having a chance for the race lead, and now it's all Shane Piggott and James Holman up ahead as these four line up in a row through turn 2. And Seal comes up right to his teammates here.
Yeah, you can see how close they are, and Andrew, this can all change in the upcoming few laps. I wonder if it will, though. It's definitely a possibility. If it will happen, that's a whole nother story, but they're very close to one another, as they have been throughout the day so far. But, yeah, who do you place your bets on?
This guy. Shane Piggott's been so good today. I think uncharacteristically good when you look at the rest of the season, but right back to where he was last season, being good in these touring cars. Opts to go from the Elantra of last season to the Veloster this season, and he's just got to hold on for a little over 2 more miles over James Holman. Now, Holman would be a great pick here, JP, but I like the desperation that's setting in for car 27. He has got to have a race win here.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after the bad luck he's had. And he's under a lot of pressure right now, and as you can see, missing a little bit of the apex. Now he's letting that out. He get really close, Andrew. And we saw when the opportunity comes, the number 4 really goes for it. You can see the lap car just ahead. He needs to get white flag. Final lap of the race, Andrew. This is all or nothing.
White flag presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. The lap car constricting the leaders through turn 2. That's Andrew Littler. But you know what? That takes away a perfect passing opportunity away from James Holman and keeps Piggott in the lead. Oh my goodness. Oh, and one car up on 2 wheels. That's McEwen. We'll come back to that. Piggott pulls away down to turn 4. He pulled a massive gap through 3 and is still ahead now. Where does Holman go to turn 5? There's no opportunity here. Can he go up the inside? He's going to try.
Yes. He's definitely going to go for it. He licked the stamp and send it, but unfortunately he was not close enough, and it's definitely going to allow the number 35 to maybe get the position back. Now Holman really needs to either defend from Lee Holmes' injury or focus 110% on getting that gap back to Shane Piggott. He only has a few extra corners to really close in that gap. You can see it's around 3.5 tenths of a second. He needs to be closer if he wants a chance at the hairpin. Can he close the gap? It's down to 3 tenths of a second. I don't think it's close enough. Lee Holmes looking down the inside. Will they battle? Oh, he moves under braking. That's not really what you want to do, but looks like Shane Piggott will hold off to it.
It's a drag race now to the start-finish line, and Shane Piggott will grab a win at Sonoma. Car 27 is back in victory lane in BSRTC.
What an absolutely amazing job. What an absolutely comeback race, essentially, for him, Andrew. After all the bad luck he's endured, he definitely deserved this. James Neve is going to win in the Pro-Am class, and Glenn Humberstone is going to win in the amateur class.
What a turnaround of the day for Glenn. As long as he holds on to this one, he should. He's got 11 seconds back to Alistair Hatcher and even more to Fiona Siddons. Andrew Littler's out of the race, and Sir Alan Toon is 8 laps down. So a big turnaround there for Glenn. That's going to be a lot of points for him, at least relatively to his amateur competitors. McEwen is going to drop out of this race entirely. He'll be the last car on the lead lap, potentially. Well, he might have crossed the finish line. Regardless, it's scoring him currently in 12th. As it's just Fiona Siddons left to cross the line. There she goes. And JP, it's time to go get some replays.
Now, obviously, we got to take a look at exactly what happened down in turn number 3, Andrew. Because, I mean, we saw it live on the bumper cam, but boy, that was something.
So this, I believe, is coming up to 2 to go. This is Andy McEwen chasing Lee Holmes and some others. This might even be 2 to coming to 2 to go. We'll see. No, this is 1. Yeah, you can see the lap car ahead. This is Littler ahead. So there's the flag stand. Yes, this is the white flag lap. What in the world happens to Andy McEwen?
So you can see, obviously, we saw it live that Andrew Littler really didn't help the leaders, and you can see we're going to see a bit of headlight flashing from McEwen. So yeah, it's all gonna happen down here on the bottom. Littler kinda, oh wow, that's really bad luck, but yeah, well, just parked it on the apex. That's not really what you want to do as a lapped car, and unfortunately for McEwen, Andrew, I'm pretty sure he just misjudged the turn in, I guess, the grip on his car, and unfortunately that contact really sent him up in the air and around.
I don't know if there's anything else Littler could have done there, as, oh boy, McEwen almost hit that turn 4 wall, but we can go back and get one more look at it. I don't know what else he really could have done in this situation. He's backed himself into a corner. He could have let these guys go, you know, differently and sooner, but if you're already there, he's all the way left on the racetrack. I think McEwen has got to give him more room here. Littler's all the way over. Unfortunately, Andy just cut it too close.
Yeah, obviously, you know, looking from Littler's point of view, you know, he was on the yellow line, isn't it? So he was just on the edge of the track. If he went to the gravel, you know, he would have gotten understeer and come back straight back into the racing course. But this is the moment where he should really have backed off the gas pedal and really allowed the whole field.
I think he's trying to get that pocket between them.
Yeah, but really,
yeah,
it's just, I guess, a mistake on both ends. You know, Littler not allowing the lead cars to essentially go by on safer places, and obviously McEwen kind of just not giving him any room on the inside and making contact.
It's so tough as a lap car as well because, you know, you run out of opportunities sometimes to give those spots up, and really you've just got to hold your line and, you know, stay predictable. Unfortunately, that time it just doesn't work out for anybody. Shane Pickett, though, grabs a race win here. JP, 12 laps led every single lap of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good job from him. A good comeback. Holmes going to finish in second place at number 4, just 0.2 of a second behind him. Lee Holmes 0.6 of a second behind the leader in third place, so a really close finish between them. James Neve is going to win once again into the Pro-Am class in 4th place. Michael Seals going to finish in 5th, ahead of Mick Anderson. Chris Knox in 7th place. Craig Schill in 8th place, ahead of Robin Walters and Ian Manners.
Finishing 11th, you'll find Martin Johnson just ahead of Andy McEwen, who did finish the race under his own power. He continued on. There was no suspension damage with that contact with Andrew Littler, so glad that he was able to continue, although not as he would have wanted to. Finishing 13th, though, it's Scott Malcolm in car 574. It's Sam Smith there in 14th spot, and Glenn Humberstone with an amateur win today over Scott Smith, Alistair Hatcher, Fiona Siddons, Andrew Littler, and Alan Toon, all the way down through your 20 cars here in race number 4. And JP, you just spoke with Fiona Siddons heading into this race, but Fiona's back.
So Fiona, that's it. The day of racing around Sonoma is over. How was your race number 4?
Your commentator's curse nearly worked. Yeah, kept it on the island after that, and I've just checked the points. Finished lead AM driver over 4 races, 106 points in front of the nearest, so that's a good result for me.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're leaving the Grand Prix, essentially the race, obviously leading the class, that's amazing. And obviously coming up to next week, switching already obviously points to next week, it's going to be a very different racetrack, isn't it?
It's going to be Slipstream next week.
And how do you prepare for a track like that?
I normally just jump in 2 hours before in the free practice and do my practice, but I'll jump in as soon as the server's up. I'll get on track and try and see what I can do with it.
Well, absolutely. Obviously, next week, as you mentioned, is going to be a draft fest. It's going to be challenging as well, I think. And hopefully, Fiona, you can get nailed down to essentially, well, still lead the championship. But, well, I'm not going to say anymore because if my commentator's curse works, you're not going to have such a good day.
No, probably not.
Well, with that being said, Fiona, I'm going to let you focus for the race next week. And obviously, enjoy the holidays. I'm pretty sure you also have in the UK. And happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter to you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Andrew, that was Fiona Siddons.
Fiona Siddons with a pretty good day overall, just putting the points together as she needed, and she'll come home 18th in the final race of the day. A little ways up the order, though, Craig Schill also had a decent points day, putting together some decent results. In the most recent case, it's 8th place here in race 4. Craig, a pretty good day of racing at Sonoma.
I'm quite happy with that. 2 top 10 finishes, and I think the lowest I finished was about 13th.
And it seems like you've definitely found your place here in Pro-Am. I know maybe it's always a little bit anxiety-inducing when you move up a class, but it seems like you fit in quite nicely, and it might be a little bit of a long shot here at the championship, but you're in the conversation.
You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm only, I think I'm about 150 points off, maybe 153, something stupid like that. So if I can get a good couple of starts and actually not bin it into turn one when I'm leading, it might help.
Well, you're racing that James Neve guy. When he's so far up the order, usually, how do you try and change what you're doing to maximize your potential and work your way up to the standings?
I tend to watch what the pros are doing and like maybe see if my line's slightly different to their line, and if their line's quicker, I'll try and mimic it. And the other one is just practice all the time. Every chance you get, just run laps and try and tailor the setup to my driving style.
And now I thought this Honda didn't like curves, but you guys were all over the curbs today, and it seemed like the Honda was actually one of the better cars at Sonoma. What was that all about?
Well, we figured it out in testing after Tuesday night. Me and Alistair Hatcher jumped into a session, and I realised that it doesn't wobble as much as it used to when it hits a curb, and you could actually attack them. And once I got comfortable and confident doing it, it was a no-brainer really, because I was picking up seconds.
There you go, Craig Schill with a really good day of racing here at Sonoma. Best of luck to you in a week's time as we go to Road America, and really even Tuesday at Road America with the MX-5s. Can't wait to see you there.
Looking forward to it.
Craig Schill with a good day here at the Sonoma Raceway. He wraps things up with an 8th place finish here in race number 4. Just a good day overall. And in case you're wondering about his points position as well for the 88 Tech driver, he is now in the 10th spot. So he's on that left panel of standings, working his way up this season as we get closer and closer to halfway through this spring season of 2022. That is 4 races done and dusted. I talk about the schedule, and you can see here we've just gotten through Sonoma Raceway on this short course. I'm sad to see it go, but I'm glad that Road America is coming up next. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park then is only a couple of weeks away. Watkins Glen comes up right after that. In fact, for BSRTC, we go there on Cinco de Mayo on May 5th. Following up there, you get Road Atlanta, Daytona International Speedway, Sebring International Raceway. A really good string of racetracks from here on out. 6 more rounds to go before we crown a few champions in each division. Very, very much looking forward to the rest of the schedule. As far as upcoming broadcasts here at Pit Stop TV, though, this is how things look. I talked about it earlier. Circuit Zolder later this evening with the North American Racing League at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Then Sunday evening, it's the Bristol Motor Speedway on dirt with the NASCAR Gen 7 cars for the MPI Cup Series. You can catch all the action there at 9 Eastern. And Tuesday afternoon, 8 p.m. UK Eastern, 3 p.m. I just said 8 p.m. UK Eastern. You know, some things, yep, we'll just let that one sit. 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern there for BSR MX-5 on Tuesday at Road America. That'll be a whole lot of fun. And of course, the fun continues on Tuesday next week at 8:30 Eastern with the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Series. That is from Red Bull Ring next week. And in case you're wondering, the Charlotte Roval is coming up again next week for the North American Racing League GT3 cars. But for now, it's time to focus ahead to Zolder. You can catch all the action later, of course, on our usual platforms, as you caught all the action today from Sonoma. That's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can even catch our social media coverage later this evening of the North American Racing League from Zolder at on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram in just a little while. Glad to have Emerson Arden handling all of that later tonight. It's been a fun one here at Sonoma, but unfortunately we do have to say our goodbyes. A big thank you to JP Costa for joining me on the mic today. It is always a big help having him around. He does a fantastic job, as you guys can hear, and all of the guys here at Pit Stop TV doing things behind the scenes, doing one broadcast or another. Caleb Gladney with me last night on IORL, Ed Schurer filling in for Devin Zimmerman last night for Outlaws, and just everybody picking up where we need to and making some great things happen here on the channel. Everybody is noticed, even if it doesn't always feel like it. Fantastic crew here at Pit Stop TV. And you can certainly join us. We'd like to add to our crew as well. Email me directly at andrew@pitstoptv.com if you are interested. That will do it for round number 4 of BSRTC this spring season in 2022. The Sonoma Raceway was a whole lot of fun, but we must say goodnight, and we will see you Tuesday then for BSR MX-5, but we'd really like to see you this evening for North American Racing League action with the GT3 cars at Circuit Zolder.